You know, guys, I have something to say, and it's going to be a little controversial, especially among some of my closest friends. But it needs to be said, and I think it's an important thing. So do me a favor on this. Like it, share it, and I mean share it. If you know an instructor of martial arts, make sure you share this. My name is Bill Jones. I'm the head instructor of top-level martial arts in beautiful downtown Cuyahoga Falls. Black belt under Master Pedro Sauer and Tony Rinaldi. You're watching Professor's Corner. This one's going to take a little bit of a different turn because I've noticed a disturbing trend in martial arts since everything's been going on. And at the time of recording this is the time that we're in 2020. So if you're watching this a few years from now, you have some idea of what's going on. A lot of closures, a lot of things like that, and a lot of people have had to do some things to survive. And I'm talking from a business perspective. A lot of you have started Zoom classes, and that's awesome. I think that's great. You're providing value to your members while you can't be open, while the doors can't be open, and I think that is wonderful. So just know that if that's what you're doing, I'm not talking about you. But I've also seen another type of person here, and I don't think it's right. And what that is it's the type of person who said, I can now teach martial arts online. And the Gracie Academy tried this years ago, and to some success. I mean, I think there is some value and some ability to learn Jiu-Jitsu to some extent online. But you can't get good at it. And time after time after time, there's video after video of, at the time they used to give you a blue belt online. They don't do that anymore. But those blue belts would then go to a real academy and just get destroyed. And they would put on gloves and just get destroyed. And because they didn't, while they practiced skills that are important, they never did any actual pressure testing of their techniques in a situation where there's skilled evaluators there to correct them on the spot. And correct them in the way of defeating them. Saying, hey, no, this isn't right, and here's why. Watch what I do. Boom, you get armbarred. Boom, you get swept. Boom, it just doesn't work. So, the Gracie Academy even went to what they call a combative belt, meaning that you graduated to a certain level, you know the techniques, you're able to duplicate them, you understand the basic fundamental movements of Jiu-Jitsu. So, now a lot of martial artists have taken to online karate, online taekwondo, online whatever. And again, if you're doing it as a supplement for the members who can't come in, that's fine. If you are doing it, or here's another example. I have a friend that's doing, he does like a 6-week like homeschool course. I think that's fine too. Like, it's not designed to take you from white belt to black belt. But there's a lot of guys out there that are, and guys, I'm going to say this flat out. You are ripping people off, and you know you're ripping people off. If you are taking people from white belt to black belt. And I saw someone talking about this online, and they're like, oh, and kind of like with the whole sarcastic typing, oh, so I guess we shouldn't reward these kids for their hard work. No, you shouldn't give people black belts online. You just shouldn't. And there's this stigma that belts don't matter. We say that all the time. The belts don't matter in martial arts. Guys, that's straight bullcrap. The belts matter, or we wouldn't have them. The belts matter because people care about them. The belts matter because when someone sees black belts, they assume that you know what the hell you're doing. And there is no way, I will take on any online black belt you want to throw at me. Which is silly because they're all probably 8 or 9 years old. But, anyone. I'll do it without my hands. And they're not going to be able to defend themselves. And while I agree that a lot of parents bring kids into martial arts because they want them to have discipline. They want them to learn respect. They want them to learn perseverance and grit. Those things are important. But they can learn those things in football. They can learn those things in soccer. They can learn those things doing any plethora of other sports. But they pick martial arts because in addition to those things, they want those kids to be able to defend themselves against bad bully who tries to mess with them. And while that may not be at the top of their list, it's definitely the reason they picked martial arts, which is normally $150, $200, up to, I've seen places that have $300 a month programs. And that's another conversation. I think that the value is sometimes there. Believe it or not, yes. I think there are programs worth $300 a month. But my point is, that's why they would pay that much as opposed to going to football for free. Or whatever the buy-in is if you happen to have a pay-to-play school. You cannot do that. You are watering it down. And in the early 90s, the Gracies came into the United States and put out the Gracie Challenge because of this exact thing. A lot of martial artists were out there just giving out black belts, telling people they knew how to fight when they didn't know how to fight. They didn't know how to defend themselves. And it happened time after time after time, and it gets so boring to watch, and it still happens. People will come in and they'll be like, oh yeah, I know martial arts, and yeah, my karate school did some grappling, so I know what I'm doing. And they will have no clue. No clue. They don't know about timing. They don't know about movement. There's no way you learn timing. There's no way you learn precision online. You can't do those things. Those things have to be done live, and they have to be done against a partner who knows what they're doing. So even if you have mom or dad, sparring with them, that's not good enough. Mom and dad aren't going to, they're not going to push the kid the way they need pushed. They're not even going to know how to. So if you're selling these online black belts and you're selling these things, I highly, highly, highly recommend you reevaluate the way you structure your program. You are just watering down what it is to be a black belt. Now, if you're selling an online program and you're not promising belts, you're saying, yeah, you can learn all the skills, all the forms, all that stuff, but to get a black belt, you have to show up and test, like in person. You have to do things in person. Okay, I get it. To some extent, I say that could work. I would think that you need some more than just one time, though, not just spend $700 and show up at your academy, get a plane flight from Florida to Seattle and show up at your academy and test one time, and then now they're Billy Badass and they get to go home and be a black belt because they bought it online. That's just paying for a belt, it. And so many of you like to say, oh no, they're not paying for a belt, I'm giving value. It's harder to do it online. You're giving less. You're giving way less to someone who's training online. Way less. Even though the setup is far more difficult by orders of magnitude. You have to have lighting. You have to have the equipment. I mean, we're talking about thousands of dollars of equipment for people who do it right. It's not easy to do, but you're not providing value. You're really not. You're showing them how to do shadow boxing, essentially, with forms, and probably some self-defense moves on mom and dad, and that's it. And those moves are going to be useless to them because they aren't ever going to pressure test them. You're going to hand them a black belt online and a certificate that you printed off on a computer and sent to them, and they're going to think that they know what they're doing. And while they may have discipline and they may have respect, when it comes time that someone messes with them and they get the ever-living shit beat out of them, how are you as an instructor going to feel about that? What are you going to do when mom or dad comes to you and says, hey, you said that our kid can defend himself, he's a black belt, and he had no chance. Is that really what you want? I don't know, it's up to you. It's not what I want. I've thought about doing this, and for anybody who doesn't know, I have black belts in Shotokan Karate, black belt in Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, black belt in Pukulan Kung Fu. I love other martial arts. I'm not trying to bash other martial arts here. I'm just bashing that particular method of instruction as a ranked program. It shouldn't be a ranked program. You just shouldn't do it. And if you are, you know as well as everybody else in the martial arts that what you are doing, and I use this term very sparingly, what you are doing is some straight up McDojo stuff. And you're setting somebody up to get hurt, and that's, in my opinion, your insurance shouldn't even cover you if that person gets hurt. You should get sued, and you should lose. So you might want to think about how you're doing things. You might want to reevaluate the type of stuff you do. I'm Bill Jones. Like, comment, and subscribe.